I'm so excited to have Christina D'Arrigo here today with me on the podcast. And Christina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is a real pleasure. I enjoy your YouTube channel. I think you do an incredible job there.
Thank you so
And
much.
you're welcome. And I love this opportunity to speak with other yoga practitioners and yoga teachers and find out what gets you excited about yoga. And also, you're a mom and you have two young children. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited to ask you questions about prenatal yoga and postpartum yoga.
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, can you give me a little bit of a snapshot or insight into how you got started practicing yoga or what your first introduction into yoga was?
I have a background in dance. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in dance. I started practicing yoga during my dance training when I was in college, so my undergraduate degree. And then after I did my master's degree, I did my yoga teacher training. So I was just a yoga student, not just a yoga student, but I was practicing yoga
Mhm.
as a student. And then I became a teacher, maybe about 4 or 5 years after I started practicing. So
Did you dance professionally post school?
I danced professionally as a child, actually, and then I did competitive dance, and I danced in school. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. And are you in New York City?
not at the moment. That's where I'm from. I was born in Queens. I went to school in Manhattan since I was very young, since maybe like age 9. And then my family, I got married and had kids and moved upstate. So I'm still in New York, but I'm not in the city anymore. So
Gotcha. Is it still cold up there right now? It's April. What's the weather like up there right now?
in upstate New York, we are starting to kind of get into that spring weather, which is nice. So it's getting a bit warmer, thankfully, but it's
Yeah.
been cold for a while, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
ready.
You're
I
ready
bet
for
it's
the.
nice out in Florida now.
It's beautiful. It's warm. It's in the 80s, almost 90s.
Yeah,
So people are
very
already
nice.
complaining down here that's too hot.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Which we can't
yeah.
totally complain about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't envy your humidity, that's for sure.
It does get warm and humid here for certain. What type of school did you do your yoga teacher training in?
I did my teacher training at YogaWorks. I'm not sure if you've heard of
Yeah,
YogaWorks.
I
They're
have.
kind of all over the country now, I think. Um,
And
but yeah,
now not
YogaWorks.
open anymore, right? Like all their physical
Are they
locations?
completely closed? I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up with them at all, so I don't know about the physical locations. I know in New York there were a few of them that closed. So
I believe so. I've also have a friend that teaches out in California or was with YogaWorks for a long time. And I just saw she sent an email and I shouldn't say anything before I say it. Okay. I think, yeah, they're
yeah.
officially closed down in
Wow.
the in studio space. And I think there's some
Huh.
big changes that have happened recently in their online space as well, interestingly enough. But
Wow. Yeah.
that's cool. Well, I heard YogaWorks has a really well-rounded yoga teacher training program. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. It was Iyengar based, so I really liked their incorporation with the use of props and how there was just kind of it wasn't a very forceful approach. It was gentle, and the use of props helped people kind of get into the poses a little bit, yeah, more gentle in a more gentle way. So I
That's
liked
cool.
that.
Nice. When you graduated from that, did you start teaching right away?
I pretty much did. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
teaching live classes. Um, in actually in the Poconos, so Pennsylvania, because that's where my parents live. So I was doing some in New York, some in the Poconos, and then I basically started the YouTube channel at that point, that that year, kind of just as like a portfolio to showcase my teaching style to get more live teaching jobs. But then it kind of just took off, and the YouTube channel's been great. So
That's so cool. I just got started with YouTube and I'm fascinated by it. So,
yeah.
congratulations on figuring out how to get it to work. do you have any advice for myself and or any other beginning YouTube
Just
yoga teachers?
keep going, keep
Just
posting
keep going.
consistently
Yeah.
is the key. Consistent posting is what YouTube really likes. They show your videos, I guess, more frequently
Got it.
to people who are looking for those type of videos. If you are an active poster, so if you just keep posting regularly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that? I think you are, right? You're still
Yeah.
publishing videos on a
I
weekly
took a
basis?
big break. I took a big break, 2 years, to have my children, and I just started posting again recently. So
Nice. That's cool.
yeah,
And I hope you don't mind me asking, but how
sure.
old are your children?
So I have a 2-year-old and I have an 8.5-month-old. So
Oh
they're
yeah.
young. They're
Yeah.
babies.
I saw a post that you did on Instagram recently where you were
Yeah.
showing kind of like after I've got my kids to bed, this is what my life looks like after
Yeah.
that. And you did this classic like cleaning
Hmm.
up, putting toys away,
Yeah.
and kind of highlighting how busy mom lifestyle is.
It is. It's been an adjustment, that's for sure.
Are you getting any
But
sleep? Are you sleeping?
oh no, no. No, definitely not. My son's still 8.5 months old, so
Yeah,
I'm feeding him, and it's just,
yeah.
it's that time.
Well,
So
thank you so much for taking time to speak with me because I do know how busy that can be. So I really do appreciate this. I also noticed that you wrote a book about chakras. Can you tell me
yes,
a little bit about what the motivation behind that was and what the creation process was like putting that together?
sure. That was my first book. It basically kind of was meant to demystify the chakras. I feel like for many, it's sort of unclear. So I basically just broke everything down in the most simple way I possibly could, and allow people to understand where each one was located and how they, affect the body and mind and everything, and the exercises that kind of went along with each one, and sequences, specific poses, and then sequences as well. So.
Nice. That's cool. When did you first start to learn about and or read about the chakra system?
Um, I mean, they kind of touched upon it in my teacher training, but I kind of did my own research afterwards. So yeah.
Nice. I just read a book by Judith Onodea. Have you heard of
Okay.
her? I think it was called The Wheels of
Uh,
I should have that off the top of my
the
head,
book
but
sounds familiar. Yeah.
yeah.
The
Okay, cool.
title. Yeah.
Apart from your book, do you have a favorite book about chakras that you'd
Hmm,
recommend?
I don't.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
don't. I don't really. I don't really, because I kind of was just taking bits off online and then my own personal practice and reading bits here and there. So I didn't like take one specific textbook or book on
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
chakras and study that. And they did not really focus on it in my teacher. I did the 200-hour training and the 300-hour training for
Got it.
teacher trainings, and then they didn't really focus on the chakras at all. So yeah.
Nice. That's cool. You said you've published three books. What are the other two that you wrote?
So the second book was a chair yoga book. So basically, yoga in a chair, all sequences that take place seated, in or seated in a chair, or standing next to a chair, or things like that, using the chair as an aid to get into the poses. Basically, for anybody with mobility issues, or yeah, any injuries, yeah, things like that.
Nice.
And then
Very
the
cool.
third book was a pelvic floor book. So basically, all about pelvic floor yoga and how to strengthen your pelvic floor, how to release if it's too, tense, any, yeah, recovery from pelvic floor trauma, injury to the area, things like that. So.
Got it. With your dance background, is that something that was taught to you when you were going through dance training? Or is that something that you became more aware of in your yoga practice and training?
It definitely was a part of the dance training, for sure. Actually, along with yoga during my dance training, we also did a lot of Pilates. So it was actually more strongly emphasized in our Pilates kind of supplementation to the dance training. So I do have that as a, I had that in the back of my head as well. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
poses are fairly similar. It's just a different, totally different thing. But
Got it. Got it.
yeah, the dance training helped a lot.
That's cool. Did you said you danced professionally when you were a child? I'm just trying to imagine, does that mean like in plays or for television and TV or movies or
I was a part of a ballet company as a
Mm,
child, so
yeah.
we did stage work. Um, yeah,
Do you do any work currently with dancers outside of the yoga realm, or have you transitioned fully from the dance world?
yeah. I'm no longer doing anything involved with dance, which I mean, in a sense, is sad. But that was one part of my life, and then I moved on. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. Did you ever
Mm.
injuries in the dance world? Had you ever sustained any or suffered any?
Yeah, dance is intense. Being a dancer is very difficult on the body, especially ballet. So when I was young, I think I was in high school, I had my first kind of real injury where I had a knee issue. It was tendonitis in the kneecap. So yeah, it was tough. And yeah, did a lot of physical therapy around that. And then I had some hip injuries and things like that. So yeah, being a dancer is tough on the body. But then in college, I discovered yoga and it definitely helped. And the yoga and Pilates also really helped with keeping my body injury free. So
Nice. Nice. How has your yoga practice, when you were pregnant with your first child, did you practice yoga throughout your pregnancy?
I did, not as much as I normally would have. I was nervous the whole pregnancy, so I didn't want to do anything that was going to. The second time around, obviously, I was more comfortable with things. I'm more familiar with how it was going to go, so I did a bit more. But and I had to because I also had a toddler running around, so I just did more things with my body, and I just had to be okay with it. But
Yes.
yeah, during the first pregnancy, just gentle, very gentle stretching. And that was it. I didn't do any flow, any vinyasa flow classes or anything like that. I just basically did the just stretching hatha and restorative stuff. So
Nice. Did you take classes in that, or do you feel like at that point you'd already had a fairly established yoga practice, so it was easy for you to figure
mm,
it out?
I didn't, well, it was COVID. It was, so I was basically home. I didn't go out. I was afraid to go out because I was pregnant. I didn't want to get sick. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did a lot of stuff at home on my own and some things with, the internet,
Yeah.
YouTube. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll be really honest. I, when COVID was happening, I thought, ooh, that would be scary having a baby right now. Not just more the actual act of going into the hospital and having like the
Yeah.
delivery process, like, because leading up to actually the day of birth, just obviously I'm, you know, from the experience of watching my wife and being there, there's
Right.
like just it's so intense. It's like it's
Yeah.
nerve wracking. There's so many things to think about and things that we never even thought we were gonna have to think about. And then to add that other element of the fear surrounding that whole thing, I'm curious, how have you managed? Do you feel like you came through okay?
Yeah. I mean, I got lucky because when I actually had my daughter, they had lessened kind of the restrictions.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who had very strict um, COVID restrictions during their labor, so their either their partner or husband could not be there at
Mm,
all, or
yeah.
they had only a restricted time where they could be there. Whereas my husband was allowed to come in and be there the whole time, but we weren't allowed visitors. Not that we really needed any visitors; it was fine to just be
Yeah.
the three of us at that point. But Yeah, and we had to wear a mask. I luckily didn't have to wear a mask during the delivery, but my husband had to wear a mask the whole time. Um, and yeah, I had to put it on before and after the delivery. So they allowed me to take it off during the whole pushing situation. So
And
yeah,
this is with your first one, and obviously
yeah.
your second, who is just a little over 8 months. All that was pretty much cleared up, and
Yeah, they still made me wear a mask after the delivery, but
mm,
other than that, we
yeah,
could have
yeah,
visitors. It was just a totally different. I
yeah,
still had to get a COVID test when I got to the hospital,
got it.
which, I'm
Yeah.
already having contractions. Having a swab up your nose was not the best scenario. But actually, the first time they made me myself and my husband test, and then this time they only made me. So I don't know why.
And if you're positive, you would have been brought to another section of the hospital, I'm
I
guessing, or
believe
like it's
so. I
yeah,
believe so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, we made it,
Yeah.
Christina. We made it.
I know. I
And we
know. It's
survived.
totally
Yeah,
different.
I know.
Totally different now. It's great.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. What sort of advice would you give somebody who is either wanting to have a baby and or is currently pregnant and wanting to practice yoga and or currently has a yoga practice? Do you have any life lessons you learned or advice that you would like to share?
Yeah. I mean, I always say when you're pregnant to not start anything new that's well, particularly strenuous in terms of physical activity. So if you already have a fairly established yoga practice, I say you could just keep going if it feels okay. If anything doesn't feel okay, then definitely stop what you're doing and find something else that feels better. Your baby and your body will tell you, if you're doing something that is not good. You'll feel it. But basically, if you're feeling good, then just keep going. But if you want to, take up a very strong, you know, hot yoga practice while you're pregnant, I don't recommend doing that. But yeah, yoga also is great to just prepare you for labor and delivery. So it definitely is a good thing to do, and it will prepare your body and your mind and your mindset for that tough period of going into labor. So
What about in relation to recovery and like the slow and or what type of pace did you reintegrate yoga practice back into your life post delivery?
well, both times I followed the advice of the doctors, basically to not do anything for 6 weeks until that 6 week postpartum visit, and then they clear you for exercise, and then did whatever I wanted, basically within reason. You're still recovering. You're not fully. Sorry if you could hear my my kids. I'm not sure if you can hear them. I
It
hear
is
them down
just a tiny, tiny bit, and I don't think it's any problem at all. I think it's great. It
there.
adds
Okay.
to the flavor. Yes.
They're with my husband and my parents, so they're not by themselves. Um,
Yeah. Bad mom, bad mom. No, I'm kidding.
right.
I'm
No.
joking. I'm joking.
Um, yeah, just be kind to yourself after, I would say, just
Yeah.
after you've been through a lot, and it's just ease yourself into it as much as possible. You're going to make things worse if you just jump right back into something very strenuous or very physically challenging. Um, it just depends. Some women have pelvic floor damage. Some go through the diastasis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it even right. Recti, where the abdominals separate from each other,
Yes.
and you have to work towards bringing them back. So it just depends. Definitely. Um, I didn't personally do this, but a pelvic floor physical therapist is a great thing to do too. Just to kind of get yourself back to a good place physically. So yeah.
That's cool. Interesting. When did, in relation to the timeline of when you, excuse me, had your children, when did you write the pelvic floor book? Was that before or during or just recently?
I wrote that when I was pregnant with my son.
Got it.
Yeah.
What type of, I'm curious, what type of exercises are involved, or did you kind of put into the book if were you teaching pelvic floor exercises in the book or explaining?
Um, I'm sorry. So you're asking if I put in things that were good for pregnancy or
Yeah, I'm just kind of imagining. I know from the Ashtanga world, and we have Mula Bandha, or the yoga world, Mula Bandha, and this idea
yeah,
of engaging the pelvic floor while practicing and having some awareness of pelvic floor
yeah,
control or contraction. And I'm curious, in relation to pregnancy, is that something that you're encouraged to do as well while you're pregnant, is to do like Kegel exercises, which I hear is kind of the equivalent of the Mula Bandha
right.
technique?
Yeah, yeah. Yes and no. It's always good to keep the pelvic floor strong. However, it's also good to do kind of the opposite to strengthening. It's also good to practice the release because you're preparing your body to get the baby out, and those muscles need to release. It's would be quite painful if they're just overly tense. So your body is going to do what it's going to do naturally. But basically, yeah, both are important. So the strengthening for afterwards is good, to help with recovery, but then also the stretching and the release. So a lot of the I do quite a bit of the restorative poses in that pelvic floor book, and they're just as important, if not more important, to just like work on releasing that. So
Nice. Yeah, I thought that's really interesting. I was speaking with mom recently, and she had made mention that the sometimes we overemphasize strengthening the pelvic floor, and in the case of childbirth, if it's too strong, that can actually be a problem.
yeah, yeah, it needs to definitely. Um, when you're trying to push the baby out, you need to um, release. It needs to be relaxed in a sense. So
My wife continuously reminds me on a regular basis how intense childbirth is, just to remind me that I
right,
really am, like when I'm complaining about like I just don't feel really good, or like, oh, my
right.
knee's a little sore. She's like, wow, childbirth is
It's
like a
good.
whole another level that no man can ever understand.
It's good that
Would
you
you
have
agree
that
with that?
reminder.
Yeah, okay, good. All right.
Yeah, yeah. My husband is in the same boat. I'm
All
constantly telling him,
right.
"Do you know what I did for you and this family?"
Do you have any
For sure.
idea? There's no way you could have any idea. I agree. It sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah. It's the most physically challenging thing I've ever done in my life. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Do you want to have more kids? Or are you happy? Are
That's
you content?
up for debate at this point.
Okay, fair enough.
My husband wants another, but I don't know. We'll see about that. I'm still recovering for sure,
Fair
definitely.
enough.
So
Fair enough. No
yeah,
hurry. That's
yeah,
cool. Christina, I notice on your YouTube channel that you create a lot of videos of like short practices, like a 10-minute practice or a 15-minute practice. And I'm curious what your thoughts are regarding the idea, or the like the the balance between this idea that maybe you need to do like an hour or a 90-minute yoga practice versus this concept of doing short practices. What are your thoughts and feelings on that?
yeah. I feel like, especially in my yoga teacher training, I it was just frowned upon to do anything shorter than a full an hour and a half long class. So, but that's not really practical for a lot of people these days. Everyone is busy. Everyone I talk to is just so busy, and I think doing a little bit of yoga is so much better than doing none at all. So, um, even just a 10-minute class or a 5-minute meditation is going to help anybody. reap the benefits of yoga. And there's just so many benefits that yoga has to offer. As you know, it's so much better to do something rather than just say I'm just too busy. So
Agreed. Do you, when you create these routines, can you explain like what's the most recent shorter, like 10 or 15-minute routine that you've done? Or that you've been
I
able to go back?
well, I posted a few weeks ago now on the channel. I was just basically um I titled it Yoga for Burnout. Any yoga is great for burnout, but that's just I feel like that's just a hot topic now, burnout. People
Yeah.
are just burnt out from life. It's just a lot going on, and it's just tiring. So
Yeah.
um, it's just a very slow paced class. That one just takes place entirely lying down, or seated or lying down. Um, and it's just a moment for people to just quiet down and focus internally and focus on themselves for a little while. So
Nice. What's one of the nicest comments or endorsements you've received via, say, YouTube comments in relation to people showing appreciation for the work that you put forward there?
um let's see. I get a lot of nice comments. I'm very lucky with the people that watch my videos. I get a lot of not nice comments, but um
You do
the
get,
nice ones outweigh
yeah,
the mean ones. So
good. Yay.
um yeah, they're just very nice about how the classes really have helped them just in so many ways, like recover from injuries or just kind of get away from the busyness of their lives, the stress of their lives. And it's just, yeah, they're all really nice. I have some nice students for sure.
No, good. Do you have any advice for how to navigate the not nice ones?
Um, I kind of I just started reading comments again. It can take a toll uh on you. And even the not nice ones um are not as bad for me. I feel like I'm I have it easy in that sense, whereas they're not like insulting me personally, but they're insulting the class or the video or something. So, but even that, I take it a bit personally as well. It's hard not to. So sometimes just separate yourself from it. If you're in a good mood, you could just take it with a grain of salt and say, "Oh, that person a, is having a bad day or is going
Yeah.
through a rough time."
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
a reflection on them than it is on yourself. So yeah, it's just it is what it is. People can be can be as mean as they want behind a computer screen. So
Good point. That feeling of being removed.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to say mean things when you're not looking at someone in the face. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that you have majority. The majority rule is positivity.
yes,
It's
for
always good to
sure.
hear. Yay.
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed like I think you do an amazing job. I'm curious, did you have somebody coach you along in relation to figuring out the whole like marketing element, the internet marketing element, or is that something that you just like little by little just kind of figured it out as you went?
Yeah, little by little, course here, a course there online, just research.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, everything was basically self-taught. So I taught myself how to edit the videos. I taught myself how to market the videos, build the websites, all the things.
Nice.
So yeah,
Cool, Christina. Well done.
thank you.
That's
It's
cool.
been a long journey, that's for sure.
I hear ya. 2014, where are we now? 23, 9 years ago. That's you can
Yeah.
learn a lot in 9 years, right? Yeah.
Yes, and everything is constantly changing on social media, so you have to just constantly keep relearning things. So,
Yeah. Keep studying, keep relearning.
mhm.
That's
Yes.
cool. I'm curious well, actually, I should maybe start the question like this. Do you have free time to practice yoga without, like, say, working currently with your family life and everything that you're doing professionally? Do you have
Yeah.
you carve out 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day where you just try to get on your mat and do your own thing?
To be honest, not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But even just like a 5-minute meditation is beneficial, or just like while I'm nursing my son to sleep, just putting my headphones in and just
Yeah.
doing just like quieting down and just
Yeah.
being with my thoughts, and
Yeah.
anything is like I said, better than nothing. At this point, it's just, yeah, it's tough with the two kids. They're really young, so I'm hoping in the future when they get older, I could go back to, doing longer practices and incorporating my own self practice. But for now, it is what it is. Fit it in where I can. So
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty because it's so hard to like carve like on top of everything to carve out like, hey, now I'm just gonna do yoga. Because I'm
yeah.
guessing even right now, like even if you do get on your yoga mat and you're in down dog, your 2-year-old wants to climb on top of your back. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
No, she's starting to like to do yoga as well. She's
oh, that's cool.
doing downward dog, and like
Mm.
she's like, oh, she likes to do the little poses that we teach her here and there. She liked it when Elmo did yoga on Sesame Street, so that was fun.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's getting into it, which is cute to see. Yeah, it'll be nice to incorporate that with them as they get older too. So
Do you ever have people come up to you and say, "Oh my gosh, enjoy it. They grow up so fast," and and think to yourself, "Oh my god, enjoy this. This is so challenging." And grow
yeah,
up, it's never gonna happen. Do you ever
right.
have those thoughts or feelings?
I do, every
Yeah,
day, but
every day,
my
all day.
daughter turned 2 yesterday,
Oh,
so I
congratulations. Happy
thank you.
birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just was looking at baby photos of her. I know it's such a tough time, but especially, on birthdays and things like that, it hits me that they are growing ridiculously fast, and,
Yeah.
you know, it's tough. It's tough as a mom to look back at her baby photos and be like, she's never going to be that little again. So, yeah.
Yes. I saw a 5-day-old baby the other day, and my son is 16 and daughter 10, so you kind of forget
Yeah.
how
Oh my gosh.
tiny I was just like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I can't believe." So it's so amazing. I mean, and, oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, even bringing my son home, my daughter, there's a 15-month age gap, 15 and a half month age gap. Bringing my son home, my daughter looked gigantic
Right?
because
Yeah.
I hadn't seen her in a few days because we were in the hospital and whatnot. And then I just came back and I was just like, how are you so huge? Um,
That's
yeah, you
classic,
forget. You
right?
definitely forget.
Alright. That's funny. I know, yeah, in a few days, they really do expand. I'm
Right.
what I know you don't have probably a lot of time to think about this right now, but you've already composed 3 books, which is fairly ambitious. If you were to go down a new project path, what is really calling your name, or what are you most interested on right now?
Well, yeah, I'm focusing a lot of my attention right now on my relaunch of my membership site. So,
Oh,
um,
cool. So wait,
that's basically,
relaunch meaning you had it going, you took a
yeah,
break, and you're
I had
relaunching
it
it,
going. Yeah, I had my children and the membership site. I was unhappy with the platform I was hosting it on anyway. So, I got a new hosting platform, and I've just been basically focusing all of my attention that I can. Obviously, I'm my main gig is parent mom right now, but
right?
all the attention that I can focus on work, I'm focusing towards relaunching the membership site, making it the best it could possibly be, for anybody who wanted to join, and for all the people that are on there now as a trial period. They're
Cool.
liking it so far. So, yeah.
Nice. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what type of trial you have going in case any listeners want to join over there or just or see what you have going? Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, I have a 30-day yoga challenge. It's 30 days of mind, body, and spirit yoga. It's all, as we spoke about before, short, little 10-minute, 15-minute sequences that people can do when they're busy. I also have a calendar, so we started at the beginning. You could start at the beginning of a month or whatever, but you could start anytime. But we started on April 1st. And I have the calendar basically mapping out each sequence for each day. But you don't have to. You could start whenever. It's just a 30-day challenge. So, yeah,
Very nice. And what sort of time commitment do I need to put in for that? Like, how long are each session per day on average?
it's the longest session in there is 18 minutes long. So
Ooh,
they're mainly 10 minutes and 15 minutes.
cool. So you have to be kind of organized to plan 30 days worth of content. Is that easy for you? Are you like naturally sort of organized in that way? That's
I
something.
have a lot of classes filmed already.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
on the YouTube channel, I have over 400 videos on there. And then
Wow.
on the membership site, on the previous one, I had about 150, maybe 175. I don't know. So there's a lot of content. And yoga sequences are evergreen. So
Yes.
if a yoga sequence that I did back in, well, my teaching style may evolve and change throughout the years. A yoga sequence that I did back in 2014 is still a yoga sequence that anybody can do if they enjoy it and want to keep going back to it. So,
Good
yeah.
point. Can you explain, so if any listeners are not digital marketers, can you explain the difference between like evergreen, viral, and like personal, or I don't know what would be the term that you would use for that other sort of classification of like where you get really like personal, like this is something about me so people can get to know you. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Coffee
I'm not
time,
the best digital marketer
chat and
myself,
chai. Okay, all right.
but evergreen just basically is exactly how it sounds. It lasts forever. It can just be
Yes.
any season, anytime. It's just always good. So
Got it. That's cool. Thank you for doing that.
yeah.
Uh, I have a ton of like technical questions, which I figure, well, those of you that are listening that are yoga teachers, I'm thinking you're probably curious. I know some of us fall into this category of like, I really want to engage with technology because anything that helps me to build my ability to interact with people anywhere in the world, how exciting. And then I see and sometimes personally feel like, oh boy, this is so much work. I just want to go back to the days where I just rolled up to the studio.
Yeah.
I I didn't even turn on a computer. I think I had like note cards and we kept track of like you have a 10 class card. I'm going to cross off one class and we'd go through the Rolodex system. Um
Right.
yeah, just kind of, romanticizing the old days. So, do you battle that at all or do you are you seems like you really gotten the ball rolling and probably enjoy the tech side. What are your thoughts?
I think for me, it might be a unique thing to me personally, but I enjoy that. I started out with a blog, and I just kind of the blog wasn't about yoga. It was just kind of like about lifestyle stuff, and then I started the yoga YouTube channel and the yoga blog, and I kind of just translated all the skills from the original blog to the yoga blog, and yeah, I enjoy that stuff. So
Cool.
I think that's just yeah. Some people don't, but yeah, I like that stuff. So
It's obvious because you've been at it, you've been steady.
yeah.
What is your organizational process for, say, when you have an idea, from the time that you have the idea to the production to the editing to the publishing? What is your creative process for getting from that idea stage to when you actually go to film?
Um, well, to create the content, I kind of do a mix of basically what I feel like doing in the moment and then what people are telling me they need, or
Mm,
just kind of, yeah, both, or what I'm
nice.
seeing that I feel
Yeah.
like people might need or want in the moment. Yeah, and then just creating the sequences based on that and filming and editing. You kind of have to, if you're editing and posting that often, you kind of have to get into a rhythm of how you're editing your videos, your yoga classes, and it becomes kind of a formula. So basically, you just like it becomes a more second nature. This way, you're able to post and not take forever at one particular
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes
so
sense. Do you
yeah,
ever do you
it's
get
just
tripped up on a particular stage? Like for me, editing, oh my gosh, like I love doing it and I feel like I could spend days on it and I have to be like, uh, this doesn't need to take 10 days. Like this could be done in 1 hour. You know what I mean? Like, do you have any advice for that? Just do it.
yeah,
Knock it
just
out. Yeah.
it's just not kind of obsessing over
Yeah.
being perfect about it because that's what I used to do for sure.
Yeah.
But you can't. You just have to say, done is is better than
Yeah.
perfect at this point, and
All right.
people aren't really going to care if your lighting is not the best at one particular stage in the video, or if
Yeah.
you have like a little bit of a muffled sound for a part. Like they're not going to really care as long as the sequence is good and they enjoy the class. Like it's
Cool.
gonna be fine. So
Cool. Yay. Book ideas. Would you do another book?
yeah, I have some ideas. I'm not 100%. I mean, anything that I do is basically just what's happening in my life at the moment. So got a lot of ideas for yoga for moms or pregnancy or postpartum or just surrounding that area of life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I just don't see how you're doing it, Christina. Like with raising your kids, are you getting in the bed and then working from like 11 p.m. till 1 a.m.? I mean, you can't do that if you have to get sleep. Like, when are you squeezing this in? How are you?
My parents are very helpful. They watch the kids a lot when my
Oh, that's
husband's at work and
amazing.
during the
Yeah.
day. But I mean, some days I just can't work at all.
Yeah.
So it just depends on whether I have childcare help. Sometimes I do work after I put them to bed. It just depends on the day. It depends on what I'm working on, and it depends on yeah, what deadlines I have coming up and just things like that. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I create my own deadlines as well. So it's just I can be flexible, which is good.
Got it. Cool. Um, what are your thoughts on yoga posturing and trying to keep up with like looking cool and being fancy on social media?
I'm not cool or fancy at all. So, I guess my thought is don't. I don't know.
Oh,
Just
good
like
answer. Yeah,
I don't know. I just yeah,
that's
I can't
cool.
compete with those
Yeah,
people, and I'm not even gonna try. So that's great for people if they want to do
yeah,
that. And there's a time and a place for it, and that's definitely for certain people. But for me, it's just I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm not cool. I'm not cool
but I
at all.
but I think that is cool, Christina. I think
Well, that's good.
you're actually doing the cool thing because you're being true to yourself, and that's what I
Right.
think has gotten you where you are. That's neat.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, it's important. I definitely would suggest that to anybody looking to get into the whole online space is just don't try and be anybody else.
Yeah, good advice. In relation to say like injury and practice, what have you learned over the years and or in terms of like respecting your body and not attempting to do something that's hurting you? Like, do you have any thoughts about that?
Uh yeah, I always tell my students to just don't do anything that they feel is going to push too far. That you're listen to your body, and basically I mean, if you want to push yourself, that's great and you should, but take it take it a bit easy. I don't like to push people too far. I think, especially coming from the dance background, it's important to not think about, oh, the person next to me in class is in a handstand or a headstand, and I'm not quite ready for that yet, or the person is in a split, and I'm not quite ready for that yet. I'm not going to just force myself down into the pigeon pose or anything of that nature just to look like somebody else. So
Yeah. Yeah.
basically. being kind to yourself should be number one, and listening to your body should be your number one priority when practicing, for sure.
Nice. Good advice. What is your favorite chair yoga poses? Like if you were going to bust out a chair yoga practice right now, do you have a few that you love?
Right now, I would just sit there because
Take a
I'm
nap.
exhausted.
Yeah. Uh,
But I
push.
really like the I guess pigeon pose in a chair. So it's basically just crossing your ankle over your thigh and working the IT band and the or stretching the outer thigh. So
Nice.
that's those are great.
Good answer. Philosophically, in the world of yoga philosophy, is there a certain book or teachings or branch that you gravitate toward and or have pulled a lot of inspiration from over the years?
I have to just go with my yoga teacher training. I think the Iyengar style is probably my favorite. I use props, but definitely not as much anymore. But the use of props is very heavy in the Iyengar style, as you must know, I'm sure. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I I I like props because it just helps people get into the pose, but in a safer way. Um, and it also, I mean, it also incorporates a lot of flow, and the style of flow makes sense to me just because it makes sense the way that it goes from one thing into the next, and it's not awkward or you have to stop and then switch and then yeah, it's just it's like a dance almost. So I like that because obviously my dance background and whatnot. So
Yes. Yes. What about the world of breathing exercises and pranayama? Do you have a favorite breath exercise or something of that nature that you gravitate toward?
I do like the alternate nostril breathing. Um,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think it's awkward, but I don't know. I find that it really helps you to focus. Um, and it just kind of it's very grounding for me. So that's probably my personal favorite.
Nice. In the world of yoga music, do you have a favorite artist? If you're going to put some yoga music on, I guess
I
it
don't
doesn't have to
remember her
necessarily be.
name. I do.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
one. I would have to look up her name because I just have her song in my
yeah.
head. I
It's
could
okay.
send it to you. You could put it in your show
I
notes
will.
if you want
Okay,
to,
cool.
but I don't remember her name. Yeah, but she's probably my favorite. I was listening to this particular artist during labor. So yeah,
Oh, nice. That connection.
yeah.
I hear you. My wife used, do you know that Hawaiian singer Izzy?
Oh
It's
yeah.
somewhere over the rainbow. And we,
That's my son's favorite song.
oh,
My eight
yeah.
months old my
Oh,
8 month
yeah.
old's favorite song. Yeah.
I love Izzy. She had that playing when our daughter was born, and so whenever he's
Oh,
singing it, it's like it takes you back, doesn't it? Or like
oh,
a
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
The music that you listen to, definitely.
What are
Yeah.
your thoughts about so are you teaching any public classes currently?
No,
Solely
none.
teaching online?
Yeah.
So, what about using music in your videos? Are you putting like music in the background, or are you not including it at all? What are your thoughts there?
I like practicing to music, but I also like it when it's quiet. And I think for years now, it's just um, I've been a no music kind of strictly no music because I get a lot of mixed reviews about music on the YouTube channel. And then that kind of translated when I was teaching live classes into the way I taught in live scenario as well. So I just find it easier to focus when it's just the teacher and the instructor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, but you know, it's it's good. Sometimes it's more helpful to just be quiet background. So,
I agree. I hear you. We have people, of course, we have a yoga studio and people will, I want music. And then other people like, I don't want music. And then
yeah,
when the pandemic hit, I put a camera in the room. So I record all of our classes. And I found
right.
that if I had music on in the classroom, that the sound of the music hitting the microphone and us talking created this big garbled kind of like messy not fun to listen to from the online side. So
Right.
we've just stopped using music, and it's almost
Yeah.
been kind of nice in a way, because then it's like I can't use music because it doesn't work for the online element, and it just
Yeah.
solved that problem in a way. So yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you that and see what your thoughts were there.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about the why don't I put music in my videos or well, first of all, for YouTube, it's just a royalty issue. So you wouldn't be
Yeah,
able
good point.
to
Yeah.
have ads if you put on popular music. But then there's the royalty-free music, which I could use. So there's that, but I still just found it easier and just kind of more people are able to focus better, and I'm able to focus better if it's just the instruction. So
Yes. I'm really curious. You have a YouTube channel people can watch for free. You have a paid site. How do you encourage people to want to go to the one that supports you, so you can make a living, generate
yeah,
some revenue? I don't know if you earn money off your YouTube channel, but from what I've heard from people that have ads on their videos, like it's like half a penny per view or something. What I mean? Like you'd have to
it's
be
nothing. Yeah,
cranking millions of views before you would actually be generating a decent income on that.
for
So
sure.
so obviously, you're working so hard, and you thought like, let me now create a paid site. I'm doing well on YouTube. Can you just give me a little bit of insight into like, has it been easy? Has it been hard? Anything you've learned or tips or tricks that have helped you?
With the YouTube channel, well, in terms of ads, yeah, you need quite a bit of views in order to make anything, and YouTube only or Google, because it's basically Google. Google only pays the creator once you hit a certain threshold per month.
Yeah.
So it took a long time for me to actually get a monthly payment from Google, um, and now I have over 100,000 subscribers on the channel. So it is, I know I get a lot of views, which is great. But then kind of in the terms of converting people over to the paid site, it's just people if you build a relationship with your students, and I have with quite a few of them, and if they like you and they want to support your work because they know that it's work, the people who are paid members or who are willing to become paid members know that it is work. Posting any kind of content, any kind of classes, teaching classes in general is work. So you have to pay to kind of be able to take advantage of that service. So they are willing to support the work.
Cool. Yay.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
yeah,
That's nice. Yes. All right. That's
yeah,
encouraging. Yeah.
yeah. It's not going to be all 100,000 people that are subscribed to the channel, but
Yeah.
it's going to be, the people who you build a connection with and who really like your classes and who connect with you as a teacher. So,
Yeah. I think what's really neat is that you make yoga very accessible. Your practices are accessible for a wide range of ability level. What are your thoughts about spreading yoga globally and trying to make it accessible so that more people can practice?
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that just, yeah, even if you have an injury or mobility issue or anything that you would think, oh, uh, I can't practice yoga, there's always a way. There's the chair yoga or modifications or um, working with somebody who knows your specific issue to help you kind of figure out what practices and what poses are right for you. Um, I think just doing yoga in general is important. So spreading that message is really it's a important thing for me for sure.
That's cool, Christina. Well, please thank your family for helping Child
Yes,
Mind and make this possible. So thank you
right,
so much again. I'm in the efforts of being respectful of your time and not holding you longer than the time we planned.
right.
Um, in closing, do you have any words of wisdom or advice or anything that we have not already spoke about that you'd like to share before we close?
Um, I mean, I've said this recently actually in another interview that I did, and I just think it's just important, um, especially for anyone listening who has kids, and it's just important to acknowledge that you are important, and making yourself a priority and making your yoga practice a priority is making your yoga practice a priority is making yourself a priority. So um yeah, just knowing that yes, taking care of everybody else is important, but you taking care of you is also taking care of them. So
Yes.
you're important, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You said it well.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Christina, so much. I really appreciate it. And I will stay in touch. And
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for
one,
having me. It was nice to talk to you.
thank you. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.